really has just been a school year like no other. And I definitely appreciate all of the work that teachers are doing in the virtual space, all the work that's happening with our central office staff and school systems and helping to support education and just helping to support that students are continuing to learn even despite all of the challenges. So I just wanted to share my thanks. And I just feel like right now we're all kind of first year teachers. If you remember when you first started teaching and just the workload that you had and just trying to figure out that new environment and with this being in this pandemic, I feel like, you're in that first year teacher role all over again. You're trying to figure things out. It's a new way of teaching students, a new way of interacting with students. And we're all going to get through this, but I just wanted to acknowledge the work that you all are doing, and especially to show up to a summit at 4 p.m., knowing that you've probably had a day full of meetings and instruction. So thank you for that. And I really do appreciate you. Next slide. So if we reflect back to 2015, and really I could go back even further when I think about when I first came to the State Department of Education in the STEM field and just us trying to get STEM up and running in the school systems. But in 2015 is when the State Department of Education started to allow computer science courses to fulfill certain graduation courses. For instance, technology education. So students can take computer science courses to fill their technology education graduation credit. And that really kind of was just to me the start, or really the spark of expanding computer science in our state. In 2016, from 2015 to 2016, Maryland, along with other states all across the nation, worked together on this K-12 computer science framework. It was released in 2016, but it really defined some of those essential skills and knowledge that students should know and be able to do for K-12 computer science. And then in 2018, we continued to grow computer science in Maryland, especially with the passing of House Bill 281, that number one, it provided additional funding for computer science education in Maryland. And it really provided support for the Maryland Center for Computing Education, or MCCE. And I just want to pause to say that, we would not be able to expand computer science at the rate in which it's expanding in Maryland without the support of the Maryland Center for Computing Education, along with Code in the Schools and code.org and Maryland Codes. All of these organizations are really helping to build awareness of computer science, not just for students, but also for parents. And then they're really helping us to expand our reach to ensure that every student has a computer science experience before they leave the public school system. So I just cannot thank all of the organizations enough that are helping to support computer science in Maryland, because we couldn't do it without you. In 2018, we also released the Maryland K-12 Computer Science Standards, and it really standards and having a framework, they're essential because they help to guide things like professional learning and certification, and there's all these other things that they help to guide even beyond what students know and do. And as we look at 2019 and 2020 and beyond, we see the number of students that are engaging in computer science just increasing exponentially. So we see it especially in the number of students who are taking AP computer science courses. When you look at that trend data, you see the number of not just, you see males and females. You see all different types of student groups who are starting to engage in computer science. And that is something that we really appreciate in Maryland. Next slide. And so we definitely believe that that awareness of computer science, it starts early. And so when we look at computer science by the numbers, we say that, 80%, and this is data from 2018, 2019, approximately 80% of high schools were offering computer science then, and really it's a lot more now. So if we pull the data now, it's probably more like 90% or 95%. And although we're looking at high school data, we know that we also want to look at middle school. And right now, about 50% of our school systems are offering computer science at the middle school level. We want to see that number expand. And we have about over 500 teachers that taught computer science during the 2018-2019 school year. I'm really looking forward to the day where we can put up on the screen as well. These are the number of students that have engaged in a computer science class at the elementary school level, and that we have 100% of our middle schools in Maryland offering computer science courses. And so we definitely believe it starts early so that we can build that pipeline so that by the time a student gets to high school and they're ready to enter a AP computer science course, or if they're ready to enter a career and technical education pathway in the information technology field, they will be ready for it. Next slide. So one of the things that we are working on in our state is really just revitalizing our the Code of Maryland Regulation 13A0410, which talks about careers, that every student in Maryland should engage in career awareness, exploration, preparation throughout the K-12 system. And we believe that the awareness of computer science careers and just computer science in general, it really starts in pre-K. For those of you who may have taught the community helpers unit, or if you had young kids and you learn about all the community helpers that are in your neighborhood, it's time to update that and really look at some of those computer scientists that are helping us out, especially now in this virtual space. And so we want to start building that awareness of the opportunities in computer science a lot earlier. And so what we are doing in Maryland is we are working on just revamping our career development framework. We're identifying some key metrics that school systems can use to ensure that their students are appropriately engaging in career development activities throughout the K-12 system. And we really want to purposefully and intentionally build in those computer science careers. When we look at the yearbooks from elementary school students, we often see a lot of yearbooks they'll have for the 5th grade, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you'll see some of the traditional occupations such as doctor, engineer, or nurse or teacher. And every now and then you'll see YouTuber, but we really, and a lot of that just connects back to what they learned in those community helper units. And so just we recognize that it's important to build that career awareness early because it shapes a lot of their courses that they take in middle school and high school. Next slide. And we think that it's great that that even if a student isn't able to take a computer science course at the middle school level, we know that there's a lot of opportunities for students to be exposed to computer science content, whether it's through the Computer Science Education Week or the Hour of Code or the Family Code Night, or it's integrated into their math class or their science class or even English language arts class. We recognize that students have a lot of opportunities to learn about these computing careers, and we want to continue to expand those opportunities throughout Maryland. Next slide. And we're also working on, those career pathways. So we always say, we want students to get their diploma, we want them to get a degree, but really what it comes down to, it's about using those tools to enter into a career. And so we are expanding our career and technical education programs of study, and we're revising it and revitalizing them so that there are a lot more opportunities for students to engage in not just computing pathways, but all kind of career pathways. And so we revised our vision for career and technical education to really focus on ensuring that all students have access and opportunity to engage in career programs of study that align to high skill, high wage, or in-demand careers, such as those in the computing field, lead to earning industry recognized credential and post-secondary credentials. And the great thing about the computing field is that they have all of these stackable credentials that will allow you entry into a variety of different levels to pursue computing education. We just had a meeting with MGM casinos. Not that we're trying to get kids into casinos, but there's a lot of computer science careers there. And they mapped it all out that, you can come in at an entry level and this is the pathway to move up in that computing education. And they're looking at offering internships and opportunities for students specifically in that computing field to come in and to help to support not so much the gambling side of it, but more so the computing education side in the background. So we know that there's all of these careers that are out there. And then that just feeds right into to the third priority for our revised vision is providing those career-based learning experiences. Next slide. So there are, if we think about this really by the number, so there are about 900,000 students in Maryland from K-12. Of that 900,000 students, approximately 260,000 of them are high school students. And when we look at that 260,000 number, 43% of those students are enrolled in some type of career and technical education program, with the majority of the students enrolled in the programs listed on the screen. And you can see that information technology is highlighted because we have a significant number of students entering that pathway. It's one of our top 4 programs of enrollment, and we continue to have more students enrolled. And that's really all due to the, and I just really do have to applaud all the teachers and all of the organizations that are supporting computing education and building that awareness early so that when students get to high school, they can make those decisions to enter into those pathways. Next slide. And some of the pathways we offer are, we have the Oracle, the Java Database Academy. We have a Project Lead the Way computer science pathway, the IT Networking Academy, which is Cisco based. We've recently partnered with Apple to do a mobile application and software development pathway. We're working on a data science pathway, and we look to continue to grow these fields, especially as we continue to match things up with the job market that is in Maryland. Next slide. And what we know is that, throughout this pandemic, educators have continued to engage in professional learning experiences. Over the summer, we had approximately 351 teachers representing all 24 school systems and the Seed School of Maryland. They represented all grade levels. They participated in computer science specific professional learning experiences. And we know that after that, the last school year, teachers could have just said, I need a break this summer. But what we found was that our computer science teachers, they really just stepped up. They came out to the professional learning, just as you all have come out today. And we really, really do appreciate that. And so we ask that you continue to support, continue to come out, and we will continue to provide professional learning experiences really designed to support your growth and to support students being prepared to enter into the computing education field. Next slide. And so I have a great team, and we're all here to help, but the leads for computer science is definitely Scott and Alyssa, and you can definitely reach out to them at any time. They'll be happy to help. And I appreciate you all having me today at this Computing Education Summit. I appreciate it, and I hope you all have a really great summit. And with that, I will end the presentation. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.